Hello and welcome to the Shootout. Tom Coolican, as always, a very warm hello to you. We are almost there. One set of games away from the 2026 Blue Crown Capital Shute Shield Grand Final. Our reviews are done earlier in the week, but what a weekend of footy that we saw, and what a set of finals we have this weekend.
Oh, completely. We're down to 4 now, and I know it's the north of the bridge versus the south of the bridge a little bit, and it's a bit of north of the bridge, but Southern Hemisphere rugby with Gordon versus Warringah that I think will be throwing it around, be a high-scoring fixture. And then over at Woollahra Oval, we've got the Southern Hemisphere, south of the bridge teams playing Northern Hemisphere rugby. I think that's going to be an arm wrestle game, battle of the set piece, but two very different games. They'll both be fantastic quality.
Our match of the round this weekend, Warringah hosting Gordon, 2v3 on the ladder. The other match, Eastern Suburbs hosting Sydney University. That one on Stan Sport at Woollahra, both on Saturday afternoon. As always, you can like and subscribe. Let us know what you think, and we'll try and build through not just this final series, but ahead of a big 2027 too. But let's get right into the weekend's fixtures and our feature interviews ahead of the match of the round. Our match of the round with a spot in the SAP Finals 2026 Blue Crown Capital Shute Shield Grand Final on the line is Warringah Rats hosting the Gordon Highlanders Saturday afternoon on 9gem, 9 Now, and of course Stan Sport. I'm thrilled to say we are joined by one of the beating heartbeats of Warringah's success over the past decade, Sam Thompson. Sam, hello, how are you?
Yeah, great. Thanks for having me. Cheers.
Real pleasure of ours. Sam, congrats on another big year. It feels like it's gone in multiple parts this campaign. How do you reflect on the Rats being at home, hosting a game to play in another grand final?
Yeah, look, I think we set out at the start of the year, obviously, with the goal of going back to back. And I guess for us, the biggest thing was getting the home semi-final. So we knew top two was all that mattered. So that was a big goal for us, especially as we sort of got through that little bumpy patch towards the end there. We knew that if we just locked in top two, it was a clean slate coming into finals.
A lot of great success stories right across the club, but two performances in a row against a Randwick side that everyone was pretty buoyant about from a neutral's perspective, the way that they were building. What's the vibe been like in and amongst that Rat squad with winning not just against Randwick the first time, but then knocking them out of the finals?
Yeah, I think we got, the energy sort of back in. We had a couple of poor performances, which also we were a bit, by our own admission, pretty flat in. And that probably led to the results we got. And we were still in a good spot. It wasn't all doom and gloom. Like, we were second in the ladder and people started to sort of write us off. And I guess we just, had a bit of a point to prove, got the NO back, and just really rallied around each other. And we're here.
Listening to Josh Holmes, who's spent a bit of time with Ivan Cleary, talking about not treating each season the same. And obviously this season is different to last season. It's a different group of cattle. You've been quite brutally affected by injuries this season, but you guys have found a way. Tell us a bit about the resilience, within the group, because it's on show and there's been a lot of adversity and you guys continue to overcome it.
Yeah, I think we've got a really strong core group of guys that all came back from last year. And within that, there's a strong group of us that have been around for a long time. So that's really helped. And then just in terms of making it an environment where boys can step up, it's sort of next man up mentality. We're not sort of, it's easy to go, we've lost a Ben Willett, we've lost a Wes, and that can really derail a season. But we... I guess just especially the leadership group, we've had to step up and just make sure everyone's around each other and the NOs are up. And we know that on our day, we're a very, very good team. And for us, the goal's still the same, to take it out.
I thought last week, and it goes back to the finding a way mentality, and you've had to adapt, right? When you've lost a bit of firepower through Jackson or Glenn Vaihu or Benny Willett, you've found strength in other areas. And for me, the set piece particularly, and I thought the scrum and the line-outs performed exceptionally the last couple of weeks. Tell us a bit about how you've had to kind of just mould and adapt, and then also the importance of the set piece that you're playing a pivotal role in.
Yeah, I think it's just keeping it simple. So with the line-out, we actually, I think going into that Sydney Uni game, we were the top line-out in the comp by stats on Opta, but we a lot of personnel changes. We just had to really simplify it. We had a really tough day at the office against Uni, and I think after that we've kind of rebuilt and just kept it real simple. And that's just something, maybe after a big play, not calling something towards the back and just keeping it like a bit easier. Scrum, we've got the personnel there. It was just around getting our process right. So we've done a hell of a lot of extras with Tetra and the guys down here over the last few weeks, just to make sure that that we're firing come this end, because the guys we're all up against over the next couple of weeks have a really strong set piece. So we'll be ready to take it to them.
Gordon, you beat them at home. I think it was 24-17 in round 2, and then I think in round 17 it was 35-24. Gordon were emotionally pumped for a number of different reasons on that day. You got them at their best, and talked about it, having played the comp. It's impossible to sustain it for 18 rounds in a row. You just can't be up every game. What's the feeling with this Gordon side, based on them this season? Because they're pretty familiar faces, right? And what do you expect from them this weekend?
Yeah, look, I think for us, Gordon have always been really strong around their set piece, and as we've all seen this year, they've got a pretty electric backline, scoring at will almost in games, but they also, in our opinion, have a bit of a weak defense, which we'll look to try and expose, because as much as they're scoring a lot of points, they're shipping a lot of points as well. So if we can get a handle on our D and bring that energy, we're pretty confident we'll be able to score enough points. But I guess, anyone in this comp can beat anyone on their day, and we'll see come Saturday.
Sam, their forward pack is heralded in terms of the way that they've been able to grind games out. Trevor Hosea has been one of the form players in the competition. We know how proud you are of what you achieve, and you do go under the radar because of the longevity and the experience and the success you've had, not just in the Shute Shield, but with the Brumbies, with the Waratahs over in Scotland as well. How fired up is this forward pack at Rats to make a statement and really push one of the competition's premier forward packs?
Yeah, I think it's an exciting challenge for us, and one we're definitely up for. As I've kind of said already, they got a lot of class, especially across the pack. And I guess you want to beat the best, and for us, it's an exciting challenge and a lot of good one-on-one matchups. And I think it just adds to the occasion. And we just got to be better than our opposite man and see how we go.
Keen to ask you about the Barnabases, because they're well spoken about in terms of what they achieve. But what are they like at training during the week ahead of a big game? Is it like holding them back almost on a leash, just trying to keep them contained ahead of when they are given the opportunity to get out there and rip in? And then they get Luke Reimer in amongst it as well. What is that dynamic like around one of the competition's famous back rows?
Yeah, I think the Barnabas boys are probably two of the most chilled out blokes you'll ever meet. I think they'd train barefoot if they could. But they pretty much just go about their work. They don't say too much. They don't make a big song and dance. They just show up and do their job, and they're bloody good at it. Both of them probably deserve an opportunity somewhere. If that's going to be Super Rugby or overseas, we'll see. But and then having someone like Luke come back, it's massive for us. Like he loves this place. I actually played with him back in 2019 here before he went on to crack it with Brums. And I think, someone coming back, you've seen the effect with like a Cadron Neville going back from Manly, someone that genuinely cares about the club, buys into it all and really gives his all. And I think he's really thriving just off getting consistent big minutes as well. So we're very much the beneficiary of that.
For you personally, you've been named captain of the inaugural British and Irish expat side for your fixture up against the Pacific Warriors, and Parksy has pressured me to ask this and give it a couple of minutes of your day in the sun. Tell us a little bit about this side, the extensive coaching staff. I think it's more coaches than players, but tell us a little bit about this team and what it means to you to be captaining what is a great concept.
Yeah, look, it's the love child of Dan Elsom, who's really put in a hell of a lot of work to get this off the ground. I think we first connected pre-Christmas just to talk about it as a concept and the idea for it. I think it's a really exciting opportunity. Obviously, this year there's just the one fixture as it stands. But the view for it going forward is hopefully at some stage to have a team in the Super AU, play against sort of touring sides and pre-season games. And I think it's just an exciting opportunity for guys of that heritage just to have another platform to sort of showcase their skills and represent where we've come from. I guess the same thing is for the Pacifica boys, who I think we've seen a New South Wales Pacifica team over the last couple of years where it's just kind of chucked together and thrown out and slaughtered by the Taz in a trial game. So you see the talent in both the squads, and I feel there's a genuine feeling, I think, that we can really make this a sustainable thing going forward, and a team that people out in this region are really excited to be a part of. I think the long-term goal, once there's backing, is to have it as an invitational team for Oz, New Zealand and Asia, bringing the guys over from everywhere else. But just sort of, showcasing. There's a lot of guys like coming out here, maybe being released from a contract or off the back of an injury, and they've come out and they've sort of made a life here. And I guess it's just to give them an equal opportunity when it's not always as easy with the foreign quotas and things like that, getting a gig out here.
Tell us about Tom G. We know how important depth is at this time of year, and Warringah have regenerated and found different ways to continue to be successful just in this campaign alone. Tell us about Tom G and the impact he's had and the type of player that he is.
Yeah, look, the guy's an absolute legend. His dad's pretty much royalty around here as well. So he's your proper clubman, and he's here playing usually in fourth grade, and then he's always there at the end of the first grade game and getting around the boys. And I think a lot of people would probably tell you he's one of the strongest at the club with set piece. So for us, when we're kind of trying to find that replacement for Wes, it was just all about who can step up and do that job and really shore things up. And I don't think anyone thought he'd be coming in and scoring tries down the wing and doing what he's doing, especially with a busted rib. So I'm super proud of him. I know it was an incredibly proud moment for his dad to present his jersey for the first time, and he's just getting better and better as he sort of settles into the pace of it and gets to build those relationships with the boys as well.
Love it. And Sam, we know how proud you are of Warringah and the local area and the community that get behind Rats. What is the message to everyone in and around the Warringah club, but also the local area, about a huge day for the Shute Shield side, but also the club on Saturday at Rat Park?
Yeah, look, it's a massive occasion. Like, semi-finals are hard to get to, and we'd love all the support, so get down if you can. It'll be a big day, especially Chatswood's not too far away as well, so all the Gordon supporters get down. The more we can get down here, the bigger the atmosphere, the bigger the occasion it's going to be, and I've no doubt with the two teams that are on the field that we're going to have a hell of a game.
We can't wait for it, Sam. And as always, congratulations on everything you continue to achieve within the competition and in the sport generally. Good luck on Saturday, and we can't wait to watch you play.
Cheers, guys. Thanks very much.
Well, it's a huge day on Saturday for Gordon as well, across multiple grades, but their Shute Shield side does take on Warringah, and I'm very pleased to say their captain, Milan Basson, joins us. Milan, how are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Real pleasure. And congrats on the continued success for you and the Gordon side. Huge win against Sydney University, and it looked like you guys left plenty out there. What was the recovery like, and what's been the wash-up for the Gordon side on the back of that big win against Uni?
Yeah, it was a good fight back from the boys. Obviously, we were in a bit of a tough spot, I think, at half-time. Uni just were able to capitalise on transitions. But, yeah, afterwards, everyone's feeling pretty good. JL, our outside, he's just a little bit of a ping in his hammy, but he's fine. Just taking it easy this week. But yeah, everyone's fit and healthy, which is good. Bit tired.
Yeah, I bet. Things seem to be building pretty well, though, from a Gordon perspective. There's a huge amount of cohesion. The depth seems to be there as well. What parts of the game do you think are really humming for the side at the moment?
Yeah, I think you touched on it. I think our depth this year has been a difference from previous years. Like, we have so much trust and faith in our bench that come on. I don't think we lose anything with them coming on. If anything, I think our set piece in some areas gets stronger. But I feel like our ability to get quick ball for our backs, we have got pretty dangerous backline players. I think that's been a key for us this year.
you played the Rats twice this year. You had the 24-17 round 2 loss, and then round 17, you beat them 35-24, but you're up about 21-0 at one stage. I think it was 28-7 at half time. It was probably one of your best wins of the season. Having played them twice, what's the headspace going into this game, knowing that it is do or die?
Yeah, it's just obviously got to be all in. That's what we've been saying this last couple of weeks at training and in the games. Obviously, the Rats are the defending premiers, so we know it's going to be a dangerous game against them. And we're going to have to leave it all out on the field on Saturday.
From a set-piece perspective, there's been a couple of changes on their side. I think Samson Coniferinissi's been one of your best players, as has Trevor Hosea, who's been sort of instrumental in the transforming of the line-out this season. Just tell us a bit about the importance of the set-piece battle and how important it is in finals, particularly against the Rats.
Yeah, it's critical to obviously winning a game. Like obviously the Rats have Sam Thompson is dangerous in the line out, especially with disrupting the opposition's maul. I think every team that versus them, all the forward backs talk about how they can get him away from the ball and when it comes to a maul. But having Trevor and Samson leading the way in our forward and asset piece, makes a big difference.
The back row battle is going to be massive this week. You've got McGill, Barnabas, and Reimer. Luke Reimer, who you played against a number of times, has probably been one of the important back rowers in this comp. But at the same time, I thought you guys had University's measure last week against a very capable back row as well. This, for me, is probably where finals footy's won. It's the breakdown, and it's a battle of titans. Personally, how up for you are this? And I guess as well, what are you expecting from the Warringah Rats other than an absolute dogfight?
Yeah, I think every back row would like to think they're the best back row in the Shute Shield. It's just the way that they operate. But I think it's going to be immense in the back row. I think that's going to be the point of difference. Who can disrupt the breakdown the most? Who can slow it down the most? So that's been key for us this week. How to nullify them, and also how we can be disrupting Warringah's ball. So it's going to be physical. I'm pretty excited for it.
You love hearing that from the captain and number 8 of a side with a berth in the grand final on the line. Just how up for that battle you are. It's exciting. And Milan, we've heard from Gordon all year and Dave Telfer and the outside backs and key position players talking about the spirit and belief and the impetus, I think, that Dave Telfer's given the side to take a swing. Does that change at all leading into a game like this? Like, does it become a little bit more narrow, or is it a case of win that ball and let's really get after this and put on a show?
Yeah, I think nothing changes for us. We like to play pretty expansive. We like to take opportunities. I think they'll stay the same. Maybe I'll take three points when it's on offer. But I think in terms of general play, we'll have a crack for sure.
On that, who's really standing out for you around the place at the moment? We know, well, we've heard from so many at Gordon the way that you lead the side around and carry yourself and step up in the big moments. But who's got a bit of a spring in their step or a little twinkle in their eye that you're really excited to see run out there on Saturday?
You can't hold Lockie Albert down. The guy loves rugby. He's when you have a beer after a game, he's just talking about a play you can run next week. I've actually never met someone who genuinely loves the game as much as this guy. So
I think what I love about, and I've known Lockie a little bit. I went to the same high school as him. I know his old man as well. Like, the guy lives and breathes code. I think Lockie Albert probably sleeps with a rugby ball still, like my 2-year-old does. I think, tell us a little bit more about Lockie Albert. I'll push you a bit on this, on Lockie Albert. And I think he's grown a league since he's come to Gordon. He's embraced the club. He's embraced the tartan, the spirit of the tartan. Tell us a bit about what it's like, because he was like, to play against, he was just like that worst enemy. What's it like playing with him now, and having him, in the Gordon tartan?
It's the best. I mean, he just wants the team to do well. Like, obviously we've we're fortunate enough to have Harrison Goddard back, class player. And I think some people might be like, if a player of that level comes back in your position, you could be a bit hesitant about it. Lockie was the complete opposite. He was like, bring him, let's get better, let's get Gordon better. Which is encouraging to see. I think it lifts everyone how much he just wants Gordon to do well, not himself. So I think, it's contagious.
Have you spoken as a group about the starts? Because there are a number of games where you look at it and you think, well, if they had have started slightly differently, the game would be to bed already. Is that something you're conscious of or aware of, or is that just par for the course with this Gordon side?
No, we definitely are aware of it. It's something we speak about often. I think, obviously we started well against that Warringah game. Not Manly, but then the game against Sydney Uni, I think we started well. We dominated a few areas. Uni were just very good at transitioning and taking the opportunities. But I think it boils down to like our training week. If we seem to be slightly off in the week, I think we start off. But we're trying to hit the nail on the head with our training the last couple of weeks, and I think hopefully it'll reflect in the game. Better start.
It is a big occasion for the club up at Rat Park with a number of grades playing early too with the Colts. What's your message to the Gordon faithful getting around the club but thinking about heading up to Rat Park on Saturday?
I think it's awesome how it's worked out. A lot of teams, four teams playing at Rat Park. So time for the Gordon supporters to come take over Rat Park and make it a home away from home. So I think it's a great opportunity this Saturday to show the sport, get behind the club.
We can't wait to see it. We can't wait to see you lead that Gordon side out onto Rat Park. It's a huge occasion for both clubs and the competition. Congrats on the continued success, Milan. And as always, thanks so much for your time.
Awesome, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
A spot in the 2026 SAP Finals Blue Crane Capital Shute Shield Grand Final is on the line. Our match of the round, Warringah hosting Gordon, 9gem, 9 now, and Stansport on Saturday afternoon. Tom Coolican, 3 changes for Warringah at 3, 6 and 13. We expect Tom G to be playing at hooker and, as Sam Thompson just mentioned, battling through and continuing to put up a big performance for the Rats. For Gordon, 3 changes too at 1, 6 and 13. A brilliant clash on paper. They both scored plenty of points, 96 tries. They both scored during the regular season. Warringah 629 points, Gordon 631. But it is a different Warringah side to the one we saw in the first 10 rounds before Glenvahu, Jackson Rapata went to the NPC. Players like Clayton Franz left as well. So a fascinating battle. Warringah like to possess the ball, put it through the hands, break the line and really back their outside backs, but also their forward pack to run the ball and carry the ball, whereas Gordon have kicked the most in the competition. They like to use their forward pack to win the ball back and play in the right parts of the field. On paper, it's a cracker. Huge day at Rat Park. How do you see this one?
Yeah, look, I mean, these two sides have faced each other, in round 2 and then in round 17. Round 17, I think Warringah got Gordon on their best day of the year. They were very emotional for a number of different reasons, and they were exceptional, flawless. It's probably the only game they've led at half time and kicked on for. Look, in round 2, 24-17, 8 players back from the Warringah Rats side there and 9 players back from the Gordon side. So I think Warringah have certainly lost the likes of Glenvahu, Ben Woolett, obviously Jackson Rapata, and you touched upon Clayton Franz as well. Like, critical, impactful players. We picked up a few as well. I think Patton Taraka's been absolutely brilliant. And Luke Reimer too, he's been fantastic. And Joe Sesse too, we saw a couple of massive plays from him off the bench last week. There's a critical turnover in Andrew Kellaway at one point there as well. And Ivan Fepeli, I thought, who, off the bench last week, first round week, a critical turnover, on the line, a massive scrum, and then a try-saving tackle on Felix Turinui. So I think, the impact that he had off the bench, and then Patton Taraka, who's been rewarded with a start this week, he's been critical. But Luke Reimer, and the way that I think he's found the Barnabas brothers to grow a leg too, and Charlie McGill as well, he's been absolutely instrumental too. So the battle of back row is going to be a fascinating challenge for me. And then whether or not the game managers, the Ben Fuinuis and the Byron Smith, can have a complete performance, because I don't think Byron Smith last week played the full 80. Went into shell a bit in the second half. But if the Warringah Rats and the likes of Ben Mar and Ben Fuinui can really step up from a game management perspective, control the breakdown, and then have dominance and assertion at the set piece with the likes of Thompson and Lataraka, and then Fepelay off the bench, that's going to be critical. I think Warringah probably can get this done. It's a tough ask for Gordon to sustain a big win last week versus University, and then back it up again away. But geez, they've got a good bench though, Will. Tafunga, and the likes of those players, and Goddard as well. It's a very complete Gordon side.
It really is what they maybe lacked at the start of the year with depth. They've been able to find and develop. Bremner's been great off the bench too when called upon. But Harry Holland too, brilliant. That back row battle, as you say. McKill, Barnabas, Reimer, named to start. Kelly, Horan, Basson. We've heard from Milan Basson just how they're fired up for the challenge to try and keep the ball away from Sam Thompson as well. But there are great little battles all over. The centres are fascinating for me from a Warringah perspective. Davis and Wildman just turning back the clock for Warringah. And we know how fired up this Rat side is to prove everyone wrong again and again and again and have the local community behind them. But Gordon, I don't know if they're peaking at the right time, but they just keep finding ways to entertain and win games, even if they're not quite in it to start. So, do you see it being a high-scoring one? Are we expecting lots of points? It feels like it could well be.
Yeah, I think it'll be a really high-scoring game. That's how Gordon play. The words of Dave Telfer, they take a swing. That's their identity, and they'll conform to that. And that's exactly how Connor Hickey against his old club. He's going to run it from anywhere. We know how he plays. That's going to be a great battle at fullback. Look, I think this is going to be a really high-scoring game. It's two sides, too, that probably don't pride themselves on their line-out or their set piece in that sense. Not like a University East game. They're going to throw it around. They're going to play to the crowd. It's going to be a really high-scoring, energetic, east-west kind of game. But I think ultimately it's going to come down to those momentum flows and momentum shifts. And I don't think, Warringah probably managed that second half all that well last season. Last week. Hence why there's been a couple of changes. But I think if the Warringah Rats can put together an 80-minute performance, they'll probably ice this one out. Gordon, though, I think the likes of Snook and Albert, they're really, finding their form and their feet at the moment, the combination, cohesion they have. You'd argue the best 9-10 in the comp at the moment. And if they can, hit their straps and bring that X factor and confidence, which we know they can do, they're going to be really hard to stop too. So I think, the battle of the breakdown and then the battle of the game managers is going to be really exciting. But, I think this is going to be a close one, but just at home, I think the Hillbillies will get Warringah home just.
Can't wait to see it. Saturday afternoon, 9 Gem and 9 Now, also on Stan Sport. And congratulations to Josh Holmes, Dave Telfer and their respective coaching staffs and both sides for getting this far. But we can't wait to see that one at Rat Park. The other final on Saturday in the Blue Crane Capital Shute Shield SAP Final Series. Eastern Suburbs, the minor premiers, taking on Sydney University. They've lost twice this year, East, both of those to Sydney University. John Manenti, Uni's coach, over his old players, Ben Batcher and Jed Gillespie. There are so many little subplots, but one change to both sides. Coolo, we don't expect Kemba Valentini to play with the Fijian squad, so we understand Chris Bell's going to be playing at 10. For Uni, no Matt Phillips. So equally an enormous change. It's two international caliber players missing for their sides. But Uni beating East, the only side to have found a way to do that. Is University East's kryptonite, or is East now finding a way to be able to nullify that? They've got a great set piece. It's statistically the competition's best line-out versus statistically the competition's best defensive line-out in terms of tacking an opposition line-out. So the set piece will be interesting, and those electric backs, class across the field. What are you most looking forward to here?
Yeah, I think Matt Phillips a massive loss, not just at line-out time, but also at scrum time. Having played Matt Phillips behind me, there's no better scrummager at tight head lock. And Eamon Doyle moves in a loose head lock position, and then Pinozio goes to tight head. With Magnusdorf, who's been exceptional for University, comes in. But just at that set piece, missing the veteran cool head of Matt Phillip. And I think, University will have the mental edge probably on East. They won 46-44. Henry James with a field goal after a scrum penalty from the University bench to get that one done. Paddy Tag and Edward Moala and Declan Moore fresh off the bench. So that's a good, fresh front row to be coming off. And that got the game done there. And then in round 8, 33-10, that was the worst we saw Eastern Suburbs. A very different Eastern Suburbs side. But University, that was a resounding victory. So they'll have some confidence. They'll have some conviction. Look, it's finals footy is a different beast. And I think it's going to be one, probably in two to three facets. The first thing is going to be defence. Defence wins premierships, as the great Jack Gibson said. And we saw that last week from Eastern Suburbs. Their defence was exceptional. It looked like Eastwood were all had hamstring injuries and were playing on a field 20 metres narrower because of the spatial awareness, the line speed, and the accuracy in defence from that eastern suburb side was just elite. I think University have a better attacking shape than that, and some more firepower, likes of Benji Jocelyn, Boston Whakafanua as well. So they have more attacking threats and more options, and they will score more points. They have more points in them. But the East Suburbs defence is elite, and whether or not they make the mistakes, the poor discipline, the missed tackles that allows University to get into the game and they execute, that's remained to be seen. But and also the game management perspective, that's the other area I think this game's been won or lost. And Teddy Wilson and Chris Bell. Chris Bell was exceptional in 2023 for Eastern Suburbs. He came off the bench a lot when Jack Bowen, who had osteitis pubis that season, wouldn't finish the game. And Bell managed these games and often closed them out, including in the grand final, when they just got to the top of the Northern Suburbs. So I don't think there's a slouch. He's a slouch there from a finals perspective. And of course, Teddy Wilson. Cream rises to the top in finals. He was exceptional last week. He'll be exceptional again. But then we've got a bit of youth there from the spine at the university. On the university side of things, Schmood and Fowler, not much experience of finals time. Joe Fowler, I thought, went to his shell last week in the second half, exceptional first half. But it's whether or not the university game managers in the 9s and 10s, can bounce back and make the most of the opportunity they were given and ice this one out.
Great battles, as I mentioned, and some of those marquee players who have been growing and performing really well when it's counted. Sid Harvey with Chris Bell, who we expect to play at 10, the way that he'll be kicking. Sid Harvey taking on the line becomes important. Nick Grigg was great too, Otto Serpentine. But on the other side, you mentioned Boston Whakafanua and George Pullman, Benji Jocelyn versus Freedom Vahakolo. And then that forward pack, Will Harris was terrific. You were full of praise for him in our review show earlier in the week. Josh Varlotto's been great. Another Colts product from Eastern Suburbs. Hokafono carries well. Nick Champion de Crepney in at 8. I know you love the way he plays and how he goes about it. What are you expecting from the start of this one?
I'm a big fan of Champion de Crepney. I love the way he plays, and he brings that hard edge, back to the Shute Shield that was kind of part of the parcel of university sides, 10, 15 years ago when they were dominant. I think, the way that de Crepney, you could remember, I think in the round 17 game, they're walking off the field and de Crepney was just into Sid Harvey, letting him know he was there. And I think with Phillip out particularly, de Crepney has a huge role here. If he makes a big play, he sets the tone. If it's a charge down, it's a turnover, or it's a massive shot on a Rion Lowry or a Josh Boxer, or a Teddy Wilson. That will inspire the university side to get into the game. And that's the best chance that university probably had to disrupt East at home and break their operating rhythm. It's going to be a big play from the big dog, Nick Champion de Crepney, and whether or not that is something that inspires and unsettles the Eastern Suburbs side. So, and then conversely, I think Josh Boxer, the Eastern Suburbs, the win they had versus Warringah mid-season up at Rat Park when, one stage, I think there was Jane Christian bullying Teddy Wilson, and Boxer just like, no, not on my watch. I think Boxer is an outstanding Shute Shield player and he's an outstanding leader and captain. And I also think, this is an opportunity for him to step up, as captain at home, in a side that wants to go to the big dance next week. And, I think that battle's going to be really interesting too, that mental battle between the de Crepneys and the Boxers.
Well, that is what's on the line. Berth in the 2026 Grand Final at Leichhardt Oval. Tickets for that are on sale, and tickets are on sale for both of the preliminary finals. We encourage you to get out to the venues if you're in the area or following your club. Get out and support them because it's two terrific clashes. And Coolo, as always, thanks to you. Can't wait for the call on the weekend and can't wait for what should be two brilliant preliminary finals leading into the big one at Leichhardt Oval.